Hello, FlossTube. It's scienceknitster, Deb or Deborah. It is Sunday, July 22nd. This is my FlossTube number 6. Yes, 6. So most of today's video is all about haul, like I promised last week. But first, I have 2 things I've been working on that I wanted to show. I did not start something new. I had said I wouldn't, and then I said, oh no, I already planned to start something new. But then I didn't because I kept working on one of the 2 pieces that I'm going to show you. Before I do that, you might notice if you've been watching and seeing my hair get longer, especially after that 7-week break, last night I just could not take it anymore, and I got the kitchen shears, went into the bathroom and just started snipping. Like basically I just hacked it off. Fortunately, I have very curly hair. It has to be pretty short before it doesn't curl. You can even see here where it's not that long, like that's as long as it is and it's still trying to curl. And that hides a lot of unevenness. I already posted a picture on Instagram and some people like, oh, you're so brave. And same thing on Facebook, my friends and family, oh, you're so brave. I'm like, no, it's curly hair. And I've had some really bad cuts that I knew. So I knew from that no matter how bad I did it, the curls would hide a lot. So thank God. I feel so much better now. Let's see. So let me get to it so this video isn't horribly long. Okay, so like I said, I've been working on 2 things this last week. And the one thing I wanted to show, I'm trying a different way of showing my things here. See if this works a little bit better than that I was using. And I should say, I have every light in the place on, and it's still not bright enough. There's no overhead light. Oh, there is over in the supposed dining area. Maybe I need to go. It's just the background would be, I'd have to clean off the table. We'll see. I might try that next week. Part of the problem is it's very gray today. I live in the Rio Grande Valley, and we had Hannah come through here last night, or near here. Fortunately, she wasn't that close to me. The winds never got up above about 35, 38 miles an hour here. So, and you can get that on a regular windy day. So everything's safe. We have had some flash floods in the area, but right where I am, it's fine. I actually went out and got a curbside pickup like just a little while ago, right before I started recording this, and the roads were pretty clear. Ditches, yes. If we get much more rain, I think there's some streets near me that will flood from the ditches, but otherwise it's been fine. We did lose power for a while yesterday, off and on, and then last night it was really weird. It would go off, come right back on, and it'd be a loud like pop boom kind of noise, and that was kind of freaky. So I unplugged a lot of stuff, it finally came back on, I want to say around midnight, and I think it hasn't been off since. Little flickering this morning, but seems to be okay now. We've had a few thunderstorms come in. But let me show you. Oh, before I show the actual thing, let me show the picture. So this is Merry Manatees by Lindy Stitches. So you can see there, you can see the whole thing. So I haven't made a whole lot of progress because I only started stitching back on it this week yesterday for Mary 25 Stitching, the hashtag on Instagram. But I've decided that I'm going to try to stitch on it at least a little bit each day this week to finally get in on Christmas in July. So we'll see how that goes. It's stacking up to be a pretty busy week for work. So not sure how much stitching time I'll have. Although I am, now that I'm not teaching, I'm trying to carve out time evenings and try not to work too much on most weekends. I haven't been working this month. I do need to do a little bit of work today. But so here it is. I'm getting in the manatee tail. So this is the, I need 3 hands. Maybe I need to get some clips and clip things on. I've seen people do that. Okay, chin is 3rd hand. So here's the mama manatee's tail. I've gotten into where the snowflakes are. So I got back here. If you watched last week, I mentioned that I had to frog a bit. But I'm getting into where the snowflakes are. So I think what I'm going to do when I have a little more brain power is put the snowflakes in here and then down on the baby here. So I've started the baby, the back end of the baby manatee. Put in, there's lights that go around the baby. So maybe put those in and then I can just kind of fill in here. I've been stitching these up and down because I noticed, at least for the mama manatee, Stephanie had, it looked like in these over dyes, at least for the mama, that the striping or the variegation was kind of going up and down. I was like, ooh, I like that. I wonder how she did that. And there was like, light bulb. She must have stitched it this way. I don't know if she did or not, but it looked like that's what she did, or the model stitcher did. I'm not sure who stitched what we see in the picture. So I decided to do the same thing for both the mama and the baby. So that's Lindy Stitches Merry Manatees. And I am using Picture This Plus Ariel, which is not the called for. I didn't have the called for. It was sterling, which I think would be fabulous also. And then I am using the called for threads. It's a combination of DMC and overdyes, both Gentle Arts and Weeks Dye Works, except for this one here, 745. Stephanie had Buttercup, which I don't have, and it's just little fishes, so I decided rather than order the Buttercup, I would just use DMC. So that's that. I'm gonna leave that out because I'm gonna get back and work on that for a little bit before I do work. And then my other main thing has been, if you've been watching me, you probably will guess this one, has been Mary Eliza McMillan, one of the Hands Across the Sea Little Gems. I'm using the DMC, the called for DMC, and I am stitching it on Picture This Plus Legacy. The only thing I had when I wanted to start this was 28 count. The Ariel's also 28 count. It's from the year that I was in the Picture This Plus club. Thank you, Susan. So actually made quite a bit of progress considering what stitching time I had. I can't even see. So you can see I got the border in. It matched up the first time, yay! And then I got those 2 blue lines in, and I was gonna stitch the blue letters first, but I think actually I'm going to stitch, I am stitching this version with the pink letters to commemorating the times we live in, COVID. So I think I'm gonna stitch those first. And I think in order to make my initials fit, I actually go by my middle name, Deborah. Blame my dad. He'll say, blame your mom. But my legal first name is Regina. I didn't know it was my name until I was in 3rd grade. I don't feel like a Regina. Just don't feel like a Deb or Deborah. Or as my family called me when I was younger, Debbie. When I went to graduate school, I decided I couldn't be Debbie anymore. I had to be Deb. And then when I started working professionally, I was like, oh, I'll just use Deborah. But my family calls me Deb. My aunts call me Debbie still. And that's fine. And it's Debbie with a Y, just so you know. Only my grandmother was allowed to spell it with an IE. She just never got never got how I spelled my name, but that's okay. She taught me to embroider, so it's okay. So I'm gonna do this next, and then I still have a bunch of motifs in here, but and then I think I'll get these in, and then I haven't decided if I'll do the motifs and then put in the blue. It's just the chart goes across the blue lettering, so I don't know, I may do something where I paste things together so I can see it easier. I don't know about other folks, but it's hard for me to see when things go across, like right, if it's like right in the middle, it's not too bad. I don't know, just, but the letters are, I'm not like seeing them. So I'm still figuring out how I'm gonna do that part. So I might do it last. And it's 10 minutes into this thing already. Anyway, so like I said, I'm using the called for DMC. And I am, here it is, on this picture, this Plus Legacy, which I think is a really nice one for this little gem. I have several of these little gems, but as soon as I finish this, I'm going to start Anne Roberts, Another Hands Across the Sea. So anyway, see if I can actually see what I'm reading here. Okay, so that's what's happening with that. I will keep working on this week. I had hoped to finish it in July, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Just because, like I said, it's stacking up to be a pretty busy work week. Aren't they all? Okay, so into the haul, and it's all mail order stuff. I decided to organize it by item. So I'm going to start with fabric and then go into some charts and so forth, rather than where I bought it from, but I'll mention where I bought it from. And I'll probably put it in the description by where I bought it from. Maybe one way or another, I'll indicate that. So first, linen extravaganza. I bought like all the linen. Crazy. Okay, so let's see, what order do I want to do this in? Okay, so first, I'm in the Victorian motto club, for linen club. I think I'll leave this folded. This is the fat quarter. So this is the June. This is the June club shipment. It is called Colonial Sampler. It is quite beautiful, and I am sure that I will use it soon. Then a bunch of stuff that actually, if I remember correctly, all of this came from 123 Stitch, and I ordered it the end of May, and it finally came recently. Yeah. So this is Heartland 36 count. Most of them are 36 count. So this is Heartland 36 count. I bought this for a blackbird, and I think it was All Joys for Thine, maybe? Whichever one I bought recently that called for this. I'm thinking it's All Joys for Thine. And that is Nicole's fault, because I saw hers and I was like, I have to have that. It's so beautiful. And then right now, oh my God, she's working on Oh Joyous Day. And I was like, oh, that's pretty, when I first saw it, not on Nicole's. And then she's stitching it, and I think Brenda and the Serial Starter, but just watching Nicole's, I'm like, oh my God, I have to have that. So that's on my list to ask from my local needlework shop, Judy Stitchery. Judy, if you're watching this, Oh Joyous Day is coming your way. This is Legacy, so it's more Legacy. So obviously I liked the Legacy, 36 count. And then I also got some Legacy and 40 count because why not? Why not? And then because I don't know, I just like was buying all the linen. This is Access Commodities. What do they do? Is it Legacy linen? I think it's Legacy linen. This is Wild Honey, 37 count. I'd already seen this and other people had mentioned it, so I decided to get a little bit more because I actually have another piece of it that I'll show when I'll show next. Okay. And then several folks, I think the Attic and some others had mentioned Russian tea cake. This is another, again, I think it's Legacy, whoever Access, I think it's Legacy linen, distributes. And again, 37 count, and this is Russian tea cake. It's very, it looks darker. Well, that's close. Wow. It's got like a slight, and it's coming across more beige, but definitely, I can see where the name comes from, tea cake. That's a little closer. Natural light. It's got sort of like the color of a rich cream, almost has a yellow tinge to it. It's coming across more beige there, but so not sure what I'll do with this, but it'll probably end up in some samplers, and I might try tea dyeing a little bit of this. Nicole of Nicole's Needleworks mentioned that she had tea dyed some. So I actually got, this is a fat half. So I can play around with some of it and see if I like it better tea dyed, tea or coffee dyed. Okay, I'm just gonna put that there. Next, I have a bunch of Hands Across the Sea sampler charts that I purchased from Sassy Jacks, who has a big sale, has had a lot of them on sale. I think they're clearing so they can restock. But one of the things I got was Ester Benson, 1739. It's a Sassy Jacks exclusive that was Hands Across the Sea did it for them. There's a tutorial or two on the Hands Across the Sea website that I think one's free and one you have to purchase. And you also get, I think, access to Nicole when you purchase that to ask questions. So I think I might do that. Although I've done all the different types of embroidery in here, I just thought it's been a while for some of it. And then I mentioned the Wild Honey. I'm not going to take this out of the bag because it's in there very nicely. And it would take me too long to take it out. But this is one of the fabrics that they recommended for Ester Benson. So I purchased it. I haven't decided what threads I'm going to use. So I didn't purchase the kit, like the full kit. But I have it in here because I do want to start it sooner rather than later. Just don't know when that's gonna be, because in another month I'll be back to work full-time. Not that I'm not working full-time now, but you know what I mean. And then Mary Lee, Eliza Knight, and pretty much I think almost all of these I had on a list that I had made when I watched Kittenstitcher's Nashville Market FlossTube, and she went into the Hands Across the Sea, or that maybe it was the Attics. I can't remember. She went into a room that had like all the Hands Across the Sea, and I was like, oh, what was that? What was that? And I'm like taking notes while she's talking. Mary Clayton. I might do this one sooner rather than later because it's pretty simple. So it might be nice to just have on the go for times when things are tad stressful, and I just need something simple to work on. Like, I think like once you got the outline of that house in, it would be pretty mindless to fill it in, or that lawn. And it's relatively small, so it should go relatively quickly. And then I had Amy Can, 1831. I don't know, it's just something about the colors and the composition of this really attracted me. There's one other one that I've been thinking about that's still on sale last time I checked. Harriet, I want to say Heartland, but that's not right. Anyway, that one has one of my favorite color combinations, which is like a yellow with a blue and a red or rust and green. And every time I see it, it's like, why didn't I buy that one when I bought all those other ones? And then I look and see, okay, you'd already bought a couple with a lot of words, and that one has even more words. And it's probably over one. And that's, I think, what kept me from buying it the first time. But, you know, even Nicole has said, and others, you don't have to stitch the whole thing. You could just take motifs out of it. So that might jump in my cart today. We'll just see. So those are a bunch of charts, our Hands Across the Sea. Those were all from Sassy Jacks. And then also from Sassy Jacks that I bought at the same time was another one that I had on my list. This wasn't, I don't think this one was on sale. It just was one that I'd had on a list and decided to throw in there. This is Plum Street Samplers Mariner's Drum because mermaid. If you've been watching my channel, you know I love mermaids. So it's like, well, it's a mermaid. Gotta have, oh. And my friend Susan clued me in on this designer that I didn't know about, has an Etsy shop. I think a serious hit to my bank account is going to be happening in the near future because, oh my God, so many beautiful mermaids. Anyway, and it'll all be Susan's fault. If I end up on the street because I can't pay my rent, it's all Susan's fault. I shouldn't joke about that right now because there are people that, because our politicians are being politicians, may lose the money they need that are keeping them in their housing. And that's just sad. Like, guys need to get it together and get some work done. The rest of us are trying to do work and keep on going. Just saying. They need to do whatever compromise they need to and make sure people get the help they need. Okay, getting off my soapbox. Okay, the last couple of things here. Here's a few things that came recently from Judy Stitchery Nook. I asked her to send me, among other things, and I think I have put away some things. There was some floss, I think, and some other things, but I've been eyeing this, no pun intended, since I saw Nicole of Nicole's Needlework working on it. This is His Eye is on the Sparrow by Beth Twist of Heartstring Samplery. Judy also has Consider the Lilies in my store stash, so for another order next time. Then I'm also collecting, I think I've mentioned I'm collecting these Little House Needleworks Little Sheep Virtues. So this is number 7 and number 8. I'm going to collect all 12 and then put them together with Country Cottage Needleworks, her daughter's Sheep in the Meadow. Probably using Pat Carson's chart to put everything together, which you can find in the Little House Needleworks, and or at least you can find somebody who can get you it, Little House Needleworks and Country Cottage group on Facebook. So just a couple other things that have come recently, some magazines. So Judy also, I'm on Judy's list to get Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. There's, this one's from Barbara Anna. I can't wait to stitch that one. And this is from Cecilia Turner of Heart and Hand. I think I'm gonna do that one too. And then there's some other ones here that I think I'm gonna do. And this reminds me that last time Susan and I talked, we talked about trying punch needle. Yeah, like either one of us needs yet another craft. Speaking of other crafts, I think I've mentioned that I do many fibery things in addition to cross stitch and all kinds of needlework like needlepoint, embroidery, red work, all that kind of good stuff. I also knit, I can crochet. I don't do it as much as knitting. And spinning and weaving. And I haven't been doing much of anything because of sore wrist, but I think I'm gonna try spinning in the next week and see how my wrist does with that. I'm still not knitting. It's because when I like chop a bunch of vegetables or have to do a lot of editing on a document and use my mouse for my work computer, my wrist gets a little sore, so I'm still resting it. But this is Ply magazine. The summer issue, it came out, when did it come out? Sometime in June. This one's about supported spindling. So I do spindle spin. I actually started spindle spinning first. I did try spinning on a wheel, and I went, Susan and I went to one of our favorite shops, Yarnorama, which is up in Page, Texas. And outside of, it's a bit outside of Austin. Anyway, we went and tried spinning on a wheel there, and I felt like totally hopeless. But then decided to try spinning on a spindle, and that really helped a lot. Helped me anyway. And then was the drafting part I was having trouble with. Like, my feet can do the treadling. It's the drafting part that's the hard part. And I almost forgot two other charts that came recently, well, several weeks ago now, from Nitka Moscow. You can find her on Instagram, and you can message her there to get these, because their website is in Russian. But these are two pieces by Barbara Anna. This is Miss Teapot. I just love it. Well, I love tea, and I love the colors. I love Barbara Anna's stuff. So they come in these really great tubes, and they were packaged together. It was pretty cool. And then, so everything's nice. Like, it's a whole kit. It's not, I'm not gonna pull it out of here, but you can see it's a whole kit. And so the fabric's in there nicely. All the threads, everything. The instructions are in Russian, but you know, it's cross stitch. What instructions do you need? Come on, do you read the instructions when you get a new chart? Probably not. So that's Miss Teapot. And then this is Miss Coffee, because, you know, if you do tea, you got to do coffee. But it actually really, it's just the colors. There's a Miss Scissors too that I almost got, but I decided to just stick with coffee and tea. But those colors are just so much fun. Anyway, I was a little hesitant at first, but Michelle Bendy Stitchy had ordered from them, and I saw some other people had ordered from Nitka Moscow, and just message her on Instagram and tell her what you want, and then she'll send you an invoice, and you can pay with PayPal. It was very easy, and considering that this came from Russia, let's just say this came faster than my order from 123 Stitch. Just saying. To be fair, they were waiting for some linen to be ordered. And then I don't want to show it, although it is a freebie. If you ordered that, this pin cushion came too. If you ordered at least 2 of her 3 kits, you got a pin cushion. Okay, and then last but not least, definitely not least, some additional thing that I ordered that's fiber related is this, let me see if I can get this Stand in the Gap tumbler. This was a collaboration between Gigi Made It, who's a knitwear and crochet designer. She has some designs on Ravelry. She's also a blogger, blogs about all kinds of things, knitting a lot, but lately, for obvious reasons, she's been blogging about the Black Lives Matter and other issues related to important social change, important and absolutely necessary social change in this country. And recently, actually, she blogs about a lot of different topics. A recent blog she had was about body consciousness, which was very interesting. I haven't had a chance to really read through it carefully. I just read the beginning of it, but I was like, oh, I want to take time and really read about this because this is important stuff. So it says, commit to change, stand in the gap. And Gigi has been talking about standing in the gap in her blog, how white folks can be allies to Black folks and stand in the gap between them and wherever there's a gap. So the picture I have in my mind is the pictures that I saw from places like Washington, D.C., where you'd have white folks standing between the police and Black folks at demonstrations. So I think that's the sort of thing that Gigi's talking about. But and this is orange. You could get it orange or blue, and this is orange because orange is Gigi's thing. Oh my God, you should see some of the fibers that she works with, the yarn that she works with. She showed a sweater that she finished recently that is absolutely gorgeous, and it looks gorgeous on her. But it's an orange. I don't think it's a color I can wear, but maybe. I kind of like orange. Yellow is actually my favorite color. But what's great is that this orange is very close to the orange that's one of my school colors. So it just makes me happy. The message makes me happy. And even better, the proceeds from these Magpie Fibers donated them to The Conscious Kid, which is an organization, a nonprofit, I believe, that puts anti-racist literature into schools so that, perhaps we can solve this problem by working with the young and making it better in the future that way. So I haven't watched it to use it yet because I've just been admiring it. Just looking at it. But yeah, so that was a recent, that one you had to pre-order. And like I said, you could have gotten in the Magpie Blue or Gigi's Orange. And I decided to get it in the orange. I do also have some haul that is PDFs that I think I will save for another time because I'm not quite ready. I was gonna use my other iPad to show you guys that. And it's not really ready for that right now. It needs some updates. It's kind of an old one. So that's pretty much it for today in terms of crafty things. Like I said, I'm planning to work on Mary Manatees and Mary Eliza this week. I may throw in a couple other things depending on how things feel. I'd really like to get back to the Fox in a Dress Sal because Michelle Bendy Stitchy finished hers already. And if you're not enjoying this video, you should blame Michelle. I'm just saying, because I was on her live this morning. I was like, oh yeah, I need to record another FlossTube, and she said, yes, you do. So I was like, oh, marching orders from Michelle Bendy Stitchy. So yeah, I was going to do it anyway. But so, but I'm definitely going to work on those two things. I might work on the personal is political because I'm really close to finishing. And then I found another, actually, let me grab, yeah, it's too far away. I don't want to get up. I found another Bent Creek on one of their zippers that I hadn't quite finished, but I'm really close. And I think I'm going to try to finish that this week. So I'm going to try to go back to every week. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, this week is seems like it's going to be pretty busy. But as always, I do want to end with a public safety announcement, a public service announcement, excuse me, a PSA about science. And I've been thinking about this one for a bit. I wanted to just say a few words about the types of reasoning that we use in science. It's something that I teach about in my intro biology courses. And I think most people understand deduction, right? Like, you know, like Sherlock Holmes and, you know, if this, then that type of thing, reasoning. You know, if this thing is true, then this other thing is a logical outcome of that. You have this evidence and it leads to that conclusion. Excuse me. And that's the type of reasoning that we use a lot in science to make predictions. Like, what do we think the outcome of an experiment is going to be, assuming our hypothesis, which is our possible answer to a question. If that's true, what should be the outcome of our experiment? If it's false, what should be the outcome of our experiment? But another type of reasoning that helps us come to those hypotheses is something called induction or inductive generalization. And this is something humans are really good at. And the reason I bring this up now is it's related, I think, a lot to why we have things like racism, why we try to pigeonhole people and groups and things. It's something people are good at. Humans are good at inductive generalization. And this was something my students pointed out to me this summer. I was talking about inductive generalization and deductive syllogisms and how we use them in the scientific method. And, you know, I mentioned inductive generalizations. You go from a specific example and then generalize from it. And I said, humans are really good at this. It really explains a lot of what's going on in the country right now, or at least what's coming to the forefront in the country right now. And one of my students, they put it right out there. Yeah, that's how we get racism. Exactly. So I just ask you to think about if you hear other folks talking, or you find yourself thinking a particular thought about a whole group of people because of one or two experiences that you've had or something you've seen. Give yourself a mental check and say, hey, wait a minute. If I'm white, I know all white people aren't the same. Why do I assume all black people are the same, all Hispanic people are the same, all gay or, excuse me, all gay people are the same, all trans people are all the same. You know, like, why do I think all people who aren't like me, whatever me is, are the same when I know all people like me aren't the same? So just be aware. That's one of the skills we as humans have, unfortunately, is that we take specific examples, specific experiences, specific instances, and generalize from it. And that can be good. It can be a great thing in certain settings, like when you're trying to come up with an answer to a question, trying to come up with a scientific hypothesis to answer a scientific question. It's great. When trying to apply it to people and pigeonholing a whole group of people because of a few experiences, then we need to do a double check and like, what, am I doing this? Am I using my skills in inductive generalization to believe something about a whole group of people because they're different than me? Just something to think about. I hope that you are taking time to be kind to yourself, getting some stitching or knitting or crafty time, and wear your mask, especially if you're in a place like I am, down here in the Rio Grande Valley, where we're a hot spot in Texas and the country right now. So yeah, I can't remember if I said already, Hurricane Hannah has already gone by. We're okay. There are some parts here that down here in the valley that are already flooding. So hopefully my friends in the valley are safe. And just family and friends, we made it through okay. So far, so good. Things should be getting better from here. So have a wonderful week. I plan to be back next weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, depending on which day works out best for me. And I hope you have a wonderful week, and be kind to your neighbors as well as yourself. Bye.